Welcome back to episode 9 of the CatchMark SportsNet podcast. I'm your host, Zach Zweigel, joined here by colleagues Brent Rath and Scott DeVamp. He's back from Cabo.
Scott DeVamp.
Thanks, Bert. Or are you Ernie?
You should be able to figure that out.
Hey, Billy, is there any way to dial up some imagery for the podcast so everybody can enjoy
the Bert and Ernie Award?
I will be putting in a picture overlay.
So Zach and Cody won the best duo.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Sweet Life.
That could have been also.
Gosh, I wish I would have thought of that, to be honest with you. So, no. Yeah. Zach won the Bert and Ernie Award at the Christmas party. Did you have a good time at the Christmas party, Zach?
Yeah, I thought it was a ton of fun. I had a really good time. Food was great. Company was great. The awards were great. It was fun. It was a good time.
I think we got to give a quick shout out. I thought Mylon's did a great job.
Unbelievable.
Local restaurant right off our back door, and the staff there did a great job keeping us all fed. And the space, we might be outgrowing the space a little bit. I think maybe headed into next year, a little tight, but they did a great job to get us all in there too. So, Scott, we missed you.
I was slumming it.
You were not slumming it. I ignored all of Scott's pictures for the last.
There were a lot of them.
So there was.
It was annoying, I'm sure. Sure, it was very annoying.
How was it?
It was phenomenal. I mean, it really was. I mean, it's Fantasyland. That's not reality, right? You go to a place like Cabo
for a week.
For a week, it is. I guess it is for a week, but I don't know. It's just.
What was your favorite part?
You know, I don't know. As you get older, you appreciate things more. I guess I don't know.
What did you appreciate more?
Just the company, being there with my wife and being there.
Oh, you softy.
You like that?
Did she
Little
listen
love
to the podcast?
bug you.
What's that?
Did she listen to the podcast?
No, but she's going to listen to this one. Because I got to get brownie points for that.
Yeah,
right?
you definitely do. So, Scott's going to go home. It's just going to be on the TV and fast forwarded right to that spot.
Right.
No,
other than your beautiful wife, what would you say was the best part?
Oh, man. The excursions were awesome. The golf. That day of golf at Quivira.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's because they say about Cabo, it's where the
Did you walk
desert
it?
makes it see. Yeah, right. Does it look like I walked anything? But because we had a dinner there at night too. We set up. That's not part of the all inclusive.
The resort.
The dinner's not even.
Yeah.
So we had to pay like an extra fee for that, but it was worth it just to spend the whole day there.
My
wife doesn't golf, but yeah, it was awesome. I had to make her happy too.
Yeah, you did.
She rode in the cart all day, but the video we took they have comfort stations on that course. They call them comfort stations where every
you just stop and
6,
chill.
7 holes they have like a little shack or something, or a little area where they serve tacos and margaritas and mixed drinks and all that stuff.
I need to talk to the guys out at White Lake, get Lundell on the phone and be like, hey, can we have some comfort stations?
That's my kind of course.
Station. It was amazing though. Yeah, it was that, and the whale watching was cool.
Oh yeah,
to see them about 150 yards or 150 feet away from us.
It's funny. I'll tell you, like we've gone on vacation and you plan all these things that you want to do. My kids absolutely the best time. One year we went and saw like a bird sanctuary and they had all kinds of tropical birds that come land. I absolutely loved it. We went through a drive-through safari one time. Highlight of the entire vacation. Like they thought it was We took them back on our way back through Huntsville to Gulf Shores last year, and we swung by that. I figured, okay, they're older now. You know, they're all teenagers, Connor's graduate. This might be lame. They might not. Nope. They absolutely loved it. They thought it was the funniest thing they ever saw, like big old camel with his head and thing. So, and then dolphins in Gulf Shores last year, they absolutely loved the dolphins. So, I can't even imagine whales. What was the biggest whale you saw?
Man, it's hard to tell because I guess they get us – because we were in a boat that was about 15 feet, I guess – the whales, we were watching humpback whales.
Yeah.
And they get to as big as 30 feet, something like that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Did you get in the water with them?
No, but
can you?
Well, not in that tour. You can in certain tours. Like there's an excursion you could take where you can go swimming with whales and sharks. My wife wasn't about that though.
Yeah, Kara wouldn't be either. Like the whales, she would be okay. Actually, when we went to Cozumel, she would not snorkel with me. She's got a thing about like sharks and alligators. Like if she looks at something like down south and thinks there could possibly be an alligator in there, she ain't going anywhere near it. Yeah.
That would be all water in Florida.
Yeah.
If there's a body of water, there's an alligator.
That's how she views it. So like we were looking at Airbnb for spring break this year, and like if it was Gulf side, she felt like she was safe, but if it looked at a bay or anything like that, she's like, "There's gators in there. I'm not doing it."
That's so weird. Out of everything.
Oh yeah, she doesn't like it. Something about not being able to control where they're going. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
And it was just us on the trip. We didn't have the kids with us. My dad thankfully watched our daughters, but so it's nice to get away for a while. But
for sure.
You know, you miss your kids too, and there's part of you that feels a little guilty. At least I did, where it's just us and leaving the kids at home. But
you shouldn't feel guilty. You do a lot for your kids.
Yeah,
you got to take care of yourself. So I got to make a quick comment because I just got a text in. Cody texted me back. So I was accused via Scott DeCamp from Cody of being a homer.
Cody Cater, that is.
Cody Cater, yes. Cody, everybody knows Cody around here, right? Like,
pay no attention to the Go Cats behind us.
I got accused of being a homer, as a matter of fact. And Scott, can you read the text, like what Cody said to
me? Let me see here. Yep, by the way, it's his 30th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Cody. Old man.
Happy birthday, geezer.
Oh, man, it's all downhill from here.
Brent needs to get off the podcast, extremely biased. Then brings in Brad Tate, the son of the legendary coach. Come on, Brent. LOL.
Yeah.
So, first off, I'm going to make some points of clarification because I feel like this is necessary. I didn't run home and get a job after I graduated college, or I went in the service.
Holy cow!
I didn't come coach at my alma mater. I'm just defending myself, right? I came home after 13 years of being away and tried to take some of the skills I learned in real life out in the real world. And now I'm proud of Cody. He did go out and he's doing that now. But so if anybody's a homer, I told him in his text I was going to flame him up today.
Cody, you need to
so
get here.
Is there any disagreement with it?
He's got time to get here before
he needs to get here. Where is he?
He said, so I texted him, I said, hey, I heard you trying to get me off my own podcast. And then I asked him if he, did he know that Scott does work for us, right? And I said, you're going to get flamed up today. And he says, by who? You know now, Cody. You know now.
That's a little harsh.
No, and all seriousness, I'm glad to see Cody doing well down south, and he's a good dude. One of the best parts about Cody is that he can kind of take it. So
no, it's fun. He can trade the barbs. He can take them.
Yeah,
and he'll be a guest on the Power Hour this Thursday at North Grove.
Oh my gosh,
that's cool.
That is going to be a long power. That's going to be like the Power 2 hours.
Power hours.
Just don't ask him about how good he is at anything, because then you'll be there for 3 hours.
We should ask which teams were better, the 08, 09, or the
my goodness,
or the 20 team.
That would be. That's why we need to have him in our podcast, because that would be like.
What do you think of what is your answer to that?
Oh boy,
we're opening a can of worms here. We weren't even supposed to talk about this.
Putting
today,
me on the spot. The team Cody played on was the best Montague team I ever saw.
Yeah, I agree with that. They are so good. I don't even think it
absolutely pains me to say that, because Cody's got a giant, massive ego as it is, and I'm just adding to that. But those guys were just at a whole nother level, in my opinion. Now, that's not to diminish what Drew Collins and those guys did, because I would say if you look at the teams they played to get there in their year, they played the best competition week in, week out. Some of the draws they got in the playoffs, they played Catholic right away, they played 4 or 5 top 10 teams on their way. And
maybe like Constantine or somebody.
They dominated everybody, too.
They were legit.
As a side note, did you see Drew Collins was the offensive player of the year, or scout, offensive player of the year at Michigan Tech?
That's awesome. Just seeing Drew do well is awesome.
Don't worry, I tweeted it out while Scott
You
was
tweeted
gone.
it? You got it? Oh, you beat him.
I did.
You're working on that blue check, baby.
I am.
I retweeted it just so someone would actually see it.
Oh, my God.
That was awesome. I love it, Scott. back.
I just carried Scott for a week, and that's all I get.
No wonder why you're not feeling good today. You've been carrying me for a week.
Real.
You've been carrying the SportsNet for the week.
No kidding.
Some. You carry us always.
I never want to be a vampire again.
So I would say Cody. Cody's team, definitely, that 08-09 team.
I think we know a lot of people on that team.
We do.
I think someone that works at CatchMark that was on that team.
Curtis? Mm-hmm. I don't know if he was
Curtis
on the team or he was on the year before. He was in that era. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, Curtis didn't win a state title. They got to the semis a year. So I want to say Cody, he definitely played with Cody, but I think it might have been Cody's sophomore year.
Yeah, I think
freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, because I have audio of John and Cal calling the game with Cody, and Curtis was there, and R.J. Nordland was on that team also.
Again, the reason I might be a little bit of a homer, Montague had a run there. I mean, it was like 5 or 6 years where before they won state titles, where they went to the semis, and Ithaca knocked them off. Like, it seemed like every stinking year in the semis. But so no, it was good. It's a good deal.
No, and in all seriousness, hats off to Zach.
Oh yeah,
for the job he did last week.
Seriously, stepped up too.
You did a lot.
Nice.
You do a lot anyway, but you did. I don't know how you did it all.
You're gonna do the same thing for me this week. So
were you able to be relaxed?
I was.
Not have to think about stuff. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Was it hard at first?
Not really.
Really?
It wasn't. You think?
Well, I just know you were working right up to like.
I was. I wanted to get out that Tate Stein profile,
and that was on Sunday,
and it was good. I got that knocked out.
Blew up, by the way.
And then yeah.
So did the Lions post last night, which is how Scott ended his vacation. Did you see that blow up?
I saw it blow up.
Did you see the reach?
He's got a blue check,
dude. I mean, not on Facebook, man. That was insane.
The guy is like, he's like.
It's bad. I was sitting next to Mick McCabe, awesome guy. Yeah, obviously, he's the GOAT. He's a legend, and he's funny. He's funny as all get out. But Pam took pictures because you can bring a guest. So and we all brought our wives. The coaches brought their wives, which is cool. Because they're the ones that are doing a lot of, like, in order for the coaches and everybody to do what they do, they need that support system.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, it's not going to work. No, Same thing with me. But it was cool sitting there. Pam took photos of us on the big screen, took a photo of Mick, and we sent it to him, and he's like, I'm like, are you going to post it? He goes, I don't know. I don't know. I might just show it to my grandkids or whatever. But you feel kind of funny posting that stuff because it feels very self-serving.
Yeah. You deserve it, Scott.
But at the same time, it's like people are like congratulating me. I go, I didn't do anything. I'm just on the panel.
Yeah.
I just helped select the coaches who won it. But it's like, thank you. But it's not about me. It's about the coaches.
It's about the coaches, yeah.
No, Scott, you deserve that.
Yeah, right.
You deserve the accolade.
It was kind of cool to see Carey there, though. Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
He was like super happy.
I got that picture of the thumb up. Did you notice that he's also flipping me off with his left hand? Did you notice that on the photo?
I didn't notice that till right now. Now I can't not see it.
Yeah. See that?
Billy, we got to figure out a way to get Zach's laptop feed in here so we can have another source. What do you think?
I just
it's cool. Like he seriously looks.
Those are my photos.
Right
I took those with my iPhone.
Oh, did you really?
What do you think of that?
Look good. Not as good as my pictures of my Pixel. I got something to show you. I got something to show you. Some action shots, non-blurry. Zach was pretty impressed, actually.
No, they were unbelievable.
So
they were unbelievable.
No Pixel, zoom quite like the Samsung, but pretty good.
That was the Montague game. When was that?
It was Montague.
I will say the Pixel in the gym looks really good.
Yeah.
Those are all from my phone.
From his phone.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I mean,
really
my eye is pretty spectacular.
Right.
But
not to mention he's about as far as he is from you to them.
I couldn't zoom in. I had to be right on the edge of the court, but it did take really good action shots.
So not only were you there for such a cool event, but you also got to see a Lions W.
Holy cow!
What?
Good, like a dominating Lions W too.
I didn't even know what I was watching out there.
I know.
I'm like, what is this?
I told him he has to go to every game now.
That's what he said too.
And if he does, then we'll have like 3 wins by the end of the year.
That's funny.
Gosh.
They've already lost the
number. Play?
Yeah.
Did they win?
Yeah, they won 6 in a row now.
Are you serious?
No brainer.
Again? Billy, you got to be on cloud 9.
Now to go from
he's happy about this.
7 losses in a row to now 6 wins in a row. If they make the playoffs, they will do what no NFL team has ever done before. Nobody's ever lost 7 in a row and made the playoffs. Now, it's not all entirely in their hands.
I got one. Thanks, Jack.
They still have to win out, obviously. But if the Bills beat the Patriots next week and then the Dolphins beat the Patriots for their final game, they knock the Patriots out and the Dolphins get the wild card, no matter what other outcome happens in the NFL. So yeah, I'm a little happy. They have to beat the Saints Monday.
Could be a tall task.
And I thought that was going to be an easy game until they beat Tampa Bay this weekend.
Yeah, that's the NFL though. I don't think
no
there's
easy
really
games,
an
right?
easy game.
No easy games.
I mean,
as the Lions illustrated.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I loved watching that Lions win, but Cardinals already stamped their playoff.
Yeah.
So they weren't playing. I don't think they were playing as hard as they would, but
yeah, they looked like they were playing hard to me.
And the Lions lost the number 1 pick.
All right, so they look. I mean, they're just gonna ruin it anyways.
That's my take on it too.
We're better off with like something first round mid than we are with the first pick because we'll get a wonderful player and then they'll live in mediocrity for 10 years until they go to another team or decide they have to retire.
There's more
or they'll
issues
draft
than
an Eric Ebron when they could have had Aaron Donald, that kind of stuff,
Yeah. I thought Ebron was going to be good, actually.
That's true. I mean, at the time, you think they are because that's why everyone's excited about it, but it doesn't pan out.
They've drafted a lot of tight ends. Hawkinson's pretty good, except he was hurt. My entire fantasy football team, I had like 4 guys, first round of the playoffs, 4 guys in COVID, 2 guys get hurt. 2 guys get hurt during games, so they start healthy, and I'm losing like I have averaged like 120 points a game. I have 40 points after Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's ugly.
Crazy.
It's killing me.
Crazy.
But
anybody see Tiger Woods this weekend and his son?
His son's legit. He's pretty awesome.
You see his mannerisms are exactly like his dad.
Like
Motions, everything.
I saw a TikTok on there on like them side by side, and I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, was it the TikTok where it showed Tiger watching?
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I saw that too.
Yeah, super cool. I'm excited to see like where he goes.
Well, John Daly's son's a pretty legit too. I don't know if you saw that. Like, I think it's John Jr. they call him, but like the dude can smash
the crap out of the
golf
ball.
Well,
I mean, like
John Daly in the back in his day,
and he's got a good short game. I think he's playing for Arkansas right now. I think he went to college.
Well, he's like older then.
Yeah, I think it's his first year though. I think he just signed with Arkansas or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. But like, yeah, I watched him play. He's legit.
That's crazy. You ever read about John Daly? Like some of his like lifestyle habits?
He is insane, dude. I don't know how he's still alive.
Dude, I saw this on TikTok too. So apparently John Daly like doesn't drink water. Like he doesn't like water. So he gets his water from ice cubes in his Diet Coke.
I can relate to that just a little bit.
I get it. But isn't that crazy? And he talks about how
it's not as crazy as you might think. No.
He's like, I love McDonald's, like Taco Bell, Burger King. That's where I eat like 3, 4, 5 days a week.
That's disgusting.
He also, there was a story, and I believe this is on YouTube, where they were interviewing him, and he was talking about a tournament he was playing with Tiger Woods, and like all the guys met in the clubhouse after a round, and they're all drinking, and like he says Tiger bops off and he goes and works out for 3 hours and he comes back and we're still razzing him and he like, hey, come have a drink with us, and like Tiger needed to go like hit the range, and so John was giving him a hard time, and I believe the quote was Tiger looked at him and John's like, come on man, you can afford to do this, and he goes, John, some of us aren't as talented as you. And he meant it. Like he legitimately was like, and it was kind of a shot, but he really did mean it. And like, man, how good could Daly have been if maybe he ate less McDonald's and drank less?
Right.
But yeah, he talked about drinking at the turn, like not going to sleep the night before and rolling into the tournament, like. And he's always bragging, I shot 65.
Yeah.
I
just think it's funny that he owns it. Like, he just doesn't.
He doesn't care.
That's cool.
No.
Yeah.
That's cool, but it illustrates.
I'll have to say,
because as they say, golf is hard.
Oh,
it's really hard.
It's a mental
game. And they
game.
make it look so easy.
They
and
sure
especially
do.
someone who has maybe these, quote, poor maybe habits or whatever. To be that dominant. He
smashed the ball, but like when he was winning, the best part of his game was a short game. I mean, for a big guy like that hit the ball that far, I mean, he just had touch, so.
Crazy.
No, yeah. I saw that same TikTok, though, this weekend.
It's funny.
Charlie Woods is like, how old is he? Like 10, 11?
I really don't know exactly, but yeah, he's got to be right around there. It just blows my mind. You just said, they make it look so easy. And to see somebody that's like half my height make it look that easy is scary to me.
Oh, yeah. Like, have you ever been to a pro golf event?
No.
Oh, one of the best things you can go to. Like, I think other than maybe basketball, it's as close as you can get to a professional athlete doing their thing as you can. We've been to a few, and I mean, like I stood at the rope this far from Phil Mickelson talking to him one year at the Buick.
It's crazy.
Like, I mean, and you can follow every pro. If you don't follow the big name pros, you can follow some of the other guys, and like they'll actually talk to you. They're walking around. I mean, you're in the same spot they are. We went to the Buick a couple times at Warwick Hills. I've been to a few different events. It's pretty awesome. Like they'll talk to you about club selection and like one guy I remember at the Buick. There's a par 4 that's kind of uphill and it's kind of shorter, and we're like, "Are you going for it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I can't remember." My dad said something to him like, "Why aren't you hitting a 3-wood?" And he goes, "Well, I want to hit it 90%." And so you hit the driver. Like, now, mind you, it was like 330 yards uphill. And he's like, he's going to hit his driver. And he did. A little cut. He goes, I'm going to try to cut this a little bit. And like, and this isn't a guy that's like making lots of money on the tour. This is like somebody I don't even remember his name, and like these guys are so good. It's unbelievable. Like
it is. It's crazy.
And then I'm playing Quivira.
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
doesn't equate.
Have you ever seen or I don't even know if it's a video or if it was just an article. Bubba Watson went to like your local Muni course, and like they were like, "What would a pro shoot at your local course?" And this is something everybody's talking about. Like if you went to White Lake or Oceana or Lincoln or Chase, Old Channel, what would a pro shoot? What would a legit pro shoot there? I think Watson set the course record and missed putts. Like was legit like. And the guy writing the article was just amazed at like how he could just dig and get it when he wanted it. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I mean, he just tore the place up.
Different. It's just different. When we talk about this all the time, like those pro athletes are just on a different level.
I would say the closest, like I remember playing, and this is like I played. You guys know Keaton Inglis, right? Yeah. I played Keaton Inglis one time. I played with Keaton Inglis and then Greg Babinick. Babinick's from up in Shelby. Greg's a club pro. He was a pro at Arcadia Bluffs for a long time. I think he's at Crystal Mountain now. And Greg had the course record at Oceana. I think he shot, it was like 65 and double bogeyed the last hole. And I played with Greg at Arcadia one time, and like I remember standing on number 9. It's a par 3. He only played the front 9 with my dad and I. It was like a 170-yard par 3. He hit like a 7 or an 8 iron. And he hits it, and he's like, get left. Get on. Check left. Go in. And the ball, I'm not kidding you, the ball starts out perfect distance, draws a little bit, lands pin high, checks, goes left, rolls in the hole for a hole-in-one. And I'm like, I'm standing there, and he shot even par in the front, didn't make a par. He just kept bogey, birdie, like then a hole-in-one. He took a couple bogeys and a hole-in-one, and he walked in the. I got work to do. I'm like, how do you quit? Like,
how do you stop?
And then I played Keaton Inglis. Now, I played Keaton numerous times as he was growing up, right? Like he's, Mark is his dad. Mark's a club pro at Oceana. Great place to go play golf if you haven't. I think it's one of the hidden gems around here. Wonderful greens, great place. Mark does a great job up there. So Keaton's been around the game, right? Like, and so he played a couple times in like the handicap division of the club tournament each year when he was like 14, 15 years old. And I beat him a couple times in the handicap, and I'm telling you, he remembered it. Like, I'm not kidding. I think he had just graduated high school, and he played in the Open division, and I never win the Open, right? Like, we're talking, these guys are, you got your Mike DeRiders, your Corey Parmalee, Sean Prangers, these guys, and Keaton, right? Like these guys are close to scratch, maybe 3-4 handicaps, right? I've made it a couple rounds and I played good. So I start out with Keaton and he remembered. I'm telling you right now. So long story short, I had a great tee shot, great second shot. I hit a wedge in on number 1 at Oceana. I'm 2.5 feet away for birdie. And I'm like, yep, this is a good start. Till Keaton made eagle. I lost the hole on eagle. He made the turn like 6 under. He closed me out in 12 holes, and I was 3-4 over.
Wow.
Like that's as good as I play, right? Like, and I was done. And he's like, "Do you want to keep playing?" He's talking course record on the turn, and I'm like, and he missed putts, and so like for me to watch an amateur golfer do that, I can't even imagine what a pro would do. It's nuts.
Different.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You got to have some good stories about baseball like that, though.
Yeah,
too.
for sure. I mean, yeah, it's just like it's just like anybody. Like athletes that are just nuts, and you understand how much how different it is and how much better they are than your average Joe.
Oh,
yeah,
right?
McLeod's a great example. Like I always like to tell the stolen base story with him, right? Like when he holds a state record for stolen bases in a career. By the way, after you steal 50, 60 bases in a year, people know you're going to steal, upcoming. So like in his senior year, like everyone on the whole field knows he's stealing and he still can't throw the guy out. I think that's an example of like how good.
Oh yeah, it's just a different level.
It's just different.
I always heard that like with in baseball, it was always sounds. Like if you had a pitcher that was like legit, you could just hear the ball going. It made a different sound going into the glove. Mm-hmm. And then I heard it for myself. We used to come back and do goofy stuff like have home run derbies and stuff with Todd Moran, Troy Moran, and they had a buddy Orlando, and Orlando played. I want to say AAA ball. He played Division I. He played for like Florida or something. And we made the mistake of inviting Orlando to the home run derby. And we were over at White House Field. I'm telling you right now, when that dude hit the ball, it was different.
Just sounds different.
It sounded
Looks
like
different.
And like, we all hit a couple over the fence, but they're like squeaking over the top. Or even when we cracked one, like every single ball he hit, it was like, and anybody that's standing there is turn around and look, and you're like, holy cow, man.
Yeah.
Like,
just crazy.
That's how Scott sounded when he hit a baseball.
Yeah, that's why he always let me pitch, and he played the field at DH for me.
Scott had a short fence in right field.
Short
lefty.
I didn't play a Hart. Come on. Remember that field?
Hart was like, what was it, like
Or Mason County
270 or
Central?
something?
That'd be
Mason
my
County
kind of
Central,
field
that
right
old
there.
one?
Yeah, Mason County Central.
Scott, could you throw a heater? How fast could you throw?
Topped out by low to mid 80s, low 80s.
That's still pretty good.
I didn't throw that
low
hard in high
80s,
school.
probably 80, 82 consistently. I think I topped out at 85 in the semifinals, but that was like 1 or 2 pitches.
You were all,
I didn't throw
all
hard.
juiced up, weren't you? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm going. I'm going to throw hard.
I mean, that would be like top of the conference around here.
Oh, yeah.
Like right
that's
now,
good.
even
I wasn't. That wasn't mine. My out pitch was the breaking ball, lefty, kind of the crafty lefty.
Yeah, I threw like high 70s.
Yeah, I remember we were at a Tigers game and they had the gun out. Like you could go and pay to do the gun. And I was there with Brian Cyber, who works for us now. And Brian and I were going up there, and I've never had a good arm, right? Like, so we get up there and there's a big line. I throw my pitch 72. Brian went after me. He threw his. It couldn't pot. Brian played baseball, so he threw it. I think he was like 71, and he's like, so he's like he's instantly shucking out more dollars because I couldn't possibly throw it faster, and he eventually did. Like he chucked one probably mid 70s or something. But the funniest part was we're these two. I mean, we were probably in our 20s or early 30s. These two old guys, and this kid, he had to have been 13. Standing behind Brian, steps up and lasers one down there at 83. And Brian looks at me and he goes, "What are we arguing about here? This is silly, right?" Like, and we're just kind of looking at this kid, but like that's one of those things you got it or you don't. Yeah. 80s it's hard to throw that hard. I mean, that's really good. So, no,
crazy.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
Cody chatted me back because I asked him to come on the podcast, and he said. He used a cuss word, but I'm not going to say it. So he said, I would have come. That would have been fun, but I was working out. Ha. I'm going to call baloney on that. Working out. Come on, Cody.
Funny.
Although he is getting old. So, all right.
Carrying on. A little basketball action. We got to touch on. We got to touch on boys basketball every time we sit down here.
Yeah, we do.
It's too close. Too good of a race. Too much fun not to talk about it. So last week, I was honestly expecting a few people to pull away in the conference. Like I thought Montague was going to go up to Mason County and just dominate.
So I'm going to put my homer shoot. We did win by 15. I mean, yeah. So, but it was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah, I mean, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. I just think that, I honestly thought North Muskegon was going to kill Whitehall after they beat Shelby last week.
Really?
I just thought that. I thought,
Whitehall's a bit of an enigma, though, I would say, because they don't, they're a team that sometimes won't play to their talent level. I think their talent level is as high as anyone in the conference. I just think they're going to be a weird one like that. It's going to go week to week. Don't you think, Scott?
Yeah, Shelby actually beat North Muskegon. And Shelby's 2-0 in the league.
Oh, that's right.
He's dropped 28 or something like that.
Because they also they won in Oak Ridge too. Shelby did by 10.
Yeah.
Oak Ridge was one of the teams that was
Ravenna. Because Ravenna killed Whitehall and then barely beat Hart.
They were up by 20 against Hart.
I watched a little bit of that game.
They were up by 20 early in the third quarter, wasn't it? Or second quarter, something like that?
Yeah. Hart's not bad, guys.
Hovey Kid took over, didn't he?
I think he's the leading scorer in the conference right now. And
there's 4 or 5 kids that are averaging right around 20 points. It'll be between 18 and 20.
Yeah, so the video, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but the pieces of video, Hovey, and this is what I remember. He played travel, not travel really, but Mona Shores League basketball against a couple of my kids. When he was younger, he handled the ball. He brought the ball up the court. He did all that, and that's what it looked like in that game. He had the ball in his hands, guys. He was not posting up. He's a 6'4", 6 foot. I mean, that's where he's at, right? 6'5".
Yeah. He seems like he's thinned down a little bit.
He was the couple plays I watched. He brought the ball from end to end and scored. He could be a tough. He'd be a tough one. I mean, so
yeah, I think that him. And I think that BB and Travis May for Ravenna, and I think that McManus.
BB looked good too. I watched some video of him. He's I got to be careful. Scott will tell me I have a man.
Yeah, for real.
He remembers me. He came to a Montague game and he's shaking my hand and saying hi, and I'm like, Scott, you too. He's a good kid though. He really is a nice kid.
So. He is. Backlund hit the winning shot against Hart.
Yeah.
Grant Backlund. He's having a nice season so far too for him. They got a nice trio with those guys.
They really do. They really do share the ball. Their point totals have been pretty even keeled. I think that BB probably leads. Travis May though too. Seriously, he's right up with BB.
So at risk of being a homer, I'll tell you what I saw. Tate Stein took that game over.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Yeah.
So he was a little quiet in that first game, probably a little nervous on the knee. Made a huge impact in that first game without scoring. Did. I'm telling you right now. When they broke for halftime, that dude poured shots in, and they could do nothing about it, which is a little against his nature. He usually, but to see when they needed it, he was legit. I mean, it was really good.
So the standings, you got Montague, Ravenna, and Shelby all 2-0.
2-0.
I think Whitehall, North Muskegon, North Muskegon's 0-2.
North Muskegon is 0-2
in the conference. Who else is 1-1? Hart's 1-1. Hart and Whitehall are both 1-1.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Oak Ridge 0-2, which is surprising.
I just think
who did Oak Ridge lose to?
Oak Ridge lost to Montague and Shelby. They lost at home by 10
they
to
lost
Shelby.
To Shelby
at home by 10.
Wow.
Shelby's all right. Shelby's the same deal, kind of like Ravenna.
How did I can't think of anybody on Shelby's team that could handle Joseph.
Bishop Lee's kind of a big dude. I think that he's been scoring some points, but I think that he would probably guard him.
Or maybe Rick went to a zone or something and just packed in the middle. I don't know.
Who knows? The Wizard of basketball.
As we said, the man hasn't forgotten how to coach.
No. Yeah, there was somebody I was talking to. It might have been one of you guys, but I'm getting old, so I don't remember who said they're worried about Shelby. It might have been you, Zach.
I just think that
they always play hard, or they always he's always got them in the right frame of mind, and they execute. Oh, it was Tate. It was Brad Tate. We were talking after the podcast the other week. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So
I missed some. Did I miss some fireworks when I was gone? What
you did.
Here,
so
guys?
Whitehall got a game against Allendale this week.
Yeah, they did.
Montague's got Comstock Park at home.
Comstock Park's coming up to play.
So I'm just gonna the Whitehall game against Allendale was a quick turnaround game, and I think I'm speculating here, but that's what we do in a podcast, right?
Yeah. Well, I was at the game, so I don't have to speculate too much. I'm going to be honest.
Well, what happened?
Some
that was
fireworks?
gone.
Yeah, I mean, so to be honest with you, the whole end of the fourth quarter was pretty confusing. And I did an interview with White House coach Christian Subden after the game.
Yeah.
To honestly ask for some clarification. Andy Roberts from the White Lake Beacon was also there. And same deal. You know, him and I were consulting a little bit. It was very confusing. So Christian got his I guess the bench got their second technical of the game because of too many players on the court.
Okay, what was the first technical for?
The first technical was for arguing. I don't know exactly. Christian got the first technical. It was for arguing with one of the referees.
Christian doesn't seem very fiery to me.
No,
neither does Chuck either. Like,
they both are definitely emotional coaches, is what I would say.
All right.
So that's how it started. Christian gets a attack for having too many men on the court, which I've actually never seen before. I've seen it in football.
That's a tough one to get in basketball. It really is. Yeah, I mean, we'll just leave it at that. It's hard. It's hard to do.
And he owned up to that. You know, he's like, you got a technical.
Yeah.
And then there was some confusion, but right during that time, there was some words said between the players and North Muskegon's coach, Chuck Ripstra. His reaction to that started some heated debate between him and Christian, and both coaches ended up getting ejected from the game. Which is,
have you ever seen that before?
I've never seen both. I've never seen a coach get ejected. Actually, I have on TV and such, but never in high school basketball, and let alone two.
I always just think of Hoosiers. Give me a T, kick me out. You know, like.
Yeah.
But yeah,
crazy.
No, that is nuts.
It's, from my understanding, Chuck was ejected for something he said or something that happened, and Christian was ejected because he got two technicals.
Oh, okay.
So, but the fact that they both went was
so. Let's talk a little bit about, like, I think this is a good segue because my wife got real irritated with me at the Mason County game because I always have to have something to do at a game, like take pictures or something, because I'm a little bit too much like my dad when it comes to like actually watching basketball, and I was getting a little fired up. The officiating for me was consistency was a problem, and I feel like that's a poor excuse to lose a game, so I would never use that as a reason. But at the same time, did officiating contribute, some mistakes maybe by the officials contribute to everybody being fired up at that game? I guess that would be my question, Zach. I mean, you were there. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I mean, I think that yes, a little bit to some extent, right? Like there was a blocking foul that or a charge that North Muskegon thought should have been a blocking foul. You know, there's a few of those that got fans riled up. I really think it was a compilation of events throughout the course.
So not just one thing.
Yeah, that and the fact that I really do think that Christian and Chuck are both, emotional, into it coaches. That's just the way they've always been.
So Scott, what do you think about do you think that's a bad look? Do you think that I mean, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but how do you feel about all that?
About
just getting ejected. I mean, like,
I get it. It happens in the heat of the moment sometimes, and not being there, it's hard to know. But based on what I've heard, one thing happens, and one thing's a reaction to another, and then they're reacting to this reaction. And I know I get it, but I mean, it's never a good look, especially in high school when the ejections happen. Yeah, but I also understand anyone who's played sports knows how heated it gets. Yep. And
so I've had coaches, and maybe they're not good coaches, but I've had coaches that feel like if they don't at times like that it can be a motivation. I mean, I'm going to reference Hoosiers again. I mean, like, he legitimately asked to be kicked out because he thinks it will help his team and give the assistant coach an opportunity, right? Like, so I don't think that was the case in this situation, but like, I don't know. Are we too sensitive to maybe that competitiveness now, like where this is a huge deal and maybe it's just an ejection and we move on? You know what I mean? It happened, take your punishment, move on. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I mean,
you don't think that, Zach. I know that.
Well, I always thought about it from the role of a media member. How do you handle it when you're reporting it?
Yeah, that's
a tough one too, because it is touchy, because you got to be, especially when you're talking about high school sports. it's just not the same as when you're dealing with college or pro.
Well, I would say if you're talking about the kids, it's definitely not. But if you're talking about the coaches, they're paid adults.
Right.
I think you're right, Scott. I think you have to be like considerate and consider all of those things. But on the flip side, I don't think you got to be quite as nice to the coaches.
No, and you don't have to. You
might not ever get another interview with them.
I'm not saying sweep it under the rug, but I'm not saying you put it in a big headline either.
Yeah,
that's where there's a lot of gray area there, I think.
Yeah.
So by the time I got done speaking on and reporting on something like this, I mean, I was there, right? I talked to Christian after the game. I interviewed him. It's live. There's a video of it on our page. And more or less the inquiry was because we didn't understand exactly what went on. Everything happened so fast, right? Mm-hmm. I think that if as a reporter, if you are going to take a bias one way or the other, you have to be able to have representation from both sides. If I get an interview from Chuck and I get an interview from Christian, then I can say whatever my piece is. I think this happened or this.
Yeah,
is
you give
both
as
long as they both have a say,
or even if they decline to say, you gave them an opportunity.
You gave them an opportunity.
But that's
was always the key.
That really isn't what happened here. It was just like, what just happened? How did both? What were the calls? Because we really didn't even know.
Yeah. So I mean, but for a podcast, we're not really reporting on the news necessarily. Right. So what's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think that my opinion is number one.
Putting them on the spot. Scott.
I think that kids in general right now and coaches have like increasingly grown more comfortable saying whatever they want on the field, on the court.
Yeah.
In all sports. This isn't just specific to that game or that sport. I mean, football, kids are dropping F-bombs or kids are, they're talking trash. I think that's always happened. It happened when I played. It happened a million years ago.
Yeah, it was a little more hidden, though. A little less overt.
I would think there's you can talk trash, D me up. But then there's also why did you just say that? Like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, social media has heightened a lot of things, too, because go back to football season when you had the Whitehall North Muskegon game. Again, those two schools. But you had the kid with Snapchat posting stuff and putting it on the board.
But, Scott, just to argue against it, that's like saying spoons make people fat.
That's
true.
Right.
It's just a tool to use, and it can be used well or it's really just reflecting the attitude that's already there. And
it
is.
Because to your point, you can twist it around and say it's what's accepted by the adults in the room, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you look at, have kids changed? No, maybe not as much as the world around them changed, yes. But also because expectations for the kids maybe aren't quite as high.
I would agree with that.
Maybe you're not holding them accountable as much as maybe you should, or maybe they've been in the past. I don't know.
I would agree with you on that. I think it's a really good, insightful view of it too. Yeah, and I would agree with you. I think a lot of us are on the sidelines at a lot of these events, and I would say you're right, Zach. And I mean, I had a talk with my own son after his game. I'm like, you don't say anything to any official, whether you're sitting on the bench or on the court. Keep your mouth shut. Yeah. And again, I do think officials can screw up, right? Like, I'm not of that vein that but on the flip side, that's a hard job, guys. I mean, that's a really hard job to do and get it right. And, you're just really looking for consistency across the way. But
I totally agree.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So on that note, and because I'm a homer, it looks to me like, so Christian has to sit, right?
Yeah. So they both have to sit a game.
Yeah.
That's an MHSAA ruling. That's just a policy.
When you get ejected, you have to sit. Players, coaches, same thing. They all have to
sit a game. All of a sudden, Allendale shows up on Whitehall's schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just going to leave it at that. Brian's a good AD, so I think maybe he was doing good AD things there. But,
I mean, that's just. There's no doubt that there's a correlation between the ejection and the scheduling. At least if there isn't, it sure looks that way to everyone else. So I do think that's why the next game, the kicker to this is the next game is the Montague game, the Montague Whitehall game. So
now the selfish side of me, I want to see Christian coach in that game.
Right.
As a guy with kids on Montague's team, and I want to see the best Whitehall product, and that's what I want to play against. So. The selfish side of me says, "Hey, I want Christian at that game, the same way I would want Dave or his coaching staff there as well."
Right.
But what kind of message does that send? And that goes back to what Scott says. It said, what are the adults in the room saying? So, anyways, I guess we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
just something a little curious. So,
yep, I agree. Interesting. Interesting stuff. What else we got? I want to know about some Christmas traditions. What do you guys do for the holidays?
Boy, buddy. Well, first off,
He said, "Boy, buddy."
you know how excited I was about our Christmas
Yeah,
party
he
last
did.
Friday.
This guy was so
I can hardly
excited all day.
He
He was being nice all day.
I was Will Ferrell and Elf.
Yeah.
buddy.
Being nice.
Yeah, that buddy.
You really like
I
Funny
wasn't
eating.
quite to that level, but I did wear my Gorilla Christmas sweater.
It was awesome.
Which I was pretty proud of. I will say Jesse and his girlfriend by far won any Christmas sweater contest we had.
True.
What?
Billy, Katie's sweater had real ornaments hanging from the bottom of it and a Christmas tree that lit up on the back of it. Then Jesse's actually had a front of a deer and then the deer butt on the back side.
And then
Really good.
and then he won the deer in the headlight.
Then he
award.
won the deer in the headlights award. So, just so everybody's aware, in true Billy fashion, he showed up in I'm going to call it a Dolphins sweater that had a couple Christmas patterns on it.
It was an
It
ugly,
legitimately had a
ugly Dolphins Christmas
It
sweater.
legitimately had a snowflake, and it did have maybe
Trees
reindeer or
and-
trees or something in certain spots. But
Stretch.
for
It's
the
a
most
stretch.
part, it was a stretch, Billy. You made it work, but you're not winning any contests with that. So
I agree.
yeah, no. So Christmas party for me is just like it's where it's at, man. I had a ball.
Love it.
Other Christmas traditions. Scott,
You
what
have-
do you
like,
got?
what do you guys do on Christmas Eve? Like, is it like everybody goes to church? Is it like a
Yeah, well, yes. We have the in-laws.
nice?
I do the in-laws side on Christmas Eve and usually our side Christmas Day. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy.
I mean,
But
at least
we
you guys
do-
have a schedule.
My brother loves, I like going to movies, going to the movie
Yeah.
theater. My
what
brother
I was
likes
asking.
to go, maybe Christmas night. We're planning on doing that Christmas night.
See
doing all the
Spider-Man?
family stuff and going and seeing. I
Spider-Man.
think he wants to see the Kurt Warner movie, the new Kurt Warner
Oh,
movie
yeah.
that's coming out.
It looks good.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. That looks good.
I want to see Spider-Man this week. Bad.
I've been waiting. I don't want to watch it before Owen because he'd get all mad at me.
He knows everything already.
He's got a whole posse he's going to the Spider-Man movie with, and they've got it all planned
Apparently,
out.
him and Jesse were already talking about the whole movie.
He doesn't care. He says, and I quote, "I don't care if I got the spoilers. I still got to see it.
I would. I mean, yeah, I feel that way too. But I don't want to hear spoilers.
I don't care either way." But
Weirdos.
Spoilers don't
What do you
bug
guys
me.
do?
what do you do, Zach?
I spend. My parents are divorced, so I spend one day with one and the other with the other, and it's I always
Which is
enjoy
which?
it.
Do you rotate them year to year?
I mean, now that obviously my brother and I are, adults,
Debatable.
We kind of just communicate.
Allegedly.
Yeah, right. Allegedly. Yeah. We just communicate it. We've always spent over the last few years. We've spent Christmas Eve with my mom and all her family, and then the majority of Christmas Day with my dad. But I'm very thankful they're so close. I always think about that because I hear a lot of my other friends and family, like they'll have other family or friends.
Oh, yeah, long
like,
ways
a long
away.
ways away. Like, yeah, we got to pack up on Christmas Day and drive 3 hours. And I was like, that'd be horrible,
Yeah. Well, yeah, Kara's family's in Boise, so
Yeah,
we'll always
exactly.
do like a video chat with them or open presents or try to bring them into that.
That's cool,
Sometimes like if her mom comes to visit, we'll open presents early just so she can be there when the kids are open and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this year will look a little different for us. It'll be weird with my
Yeah.
dad being gone.
For sure.
Usually my mom and dad come over Christmas morning, spend the morning with us, and then we open presents. And we used to go away and like my mom would schedule something, and earlier in December we'd take a weekend and everybody would go someplace.
Go do something.
Yeah, but yeah, this year we didn't. So things are changing a little bit for the Rath household. We'll see how it goes. Right this year we're going to go to my sister's. So my mom's going to come over. We're going to open presents Christmas morning. Then we're going over to my sister Melissa's house afterwards and spend the day with them.
Cool.
So it'll be fun.
Yeah, for
Lots
sure.
of kids.
See, for me, I'm sure it's the same way for you guys, but especially this way for me. Christmas, New Year's all runs together.
Yes.
Part of it's because of, that's just the way the holidays are set up. Part of it, too, is because I'm a New Year's baby. So that's
man.
I've always got the thing growing up. Oh, Merry Christmas. Oh, it's your birthday. Oh, well, here's your birthday and Christmas present.
My sister's
Which as you
January
get older, you don't
3rd.
care about that stuff
Yeah.
when you're younger. Come on, man.
Yeah. You kind of get shafted.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about being a New Year's baby is I can watch football all day and no one pesters me. No one can make me feel
That's
guilty.
true. You always have your
have
birthday off.
I just
too.
lay there. I go, it's my birthday. Leave me alone. Let me watch these games.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about snow? You guys, would you like snow on Christmas?
Yeah.
I guess optically, yes, but I have no use for it otherwise.
So as soon as Christmas is over, if the snow never came
I'm
back,
not an
you'd be
outdoor
okay.
I'm not a snowmobiler or skier or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I don't like snow either.
Snow gives me an excuse to stay in the house and watch TV.
I
and
do
play
like
video
that
games.
part of it for sure.
If it's nice out and I want to do something like that, I always feel guilty. So, like, I have no problem binge watching Netflix when it's cold and blowy and snowy outside, and it makes me feel okay with it. So
That's true. That's a good point.
I for my guilt, I like it. I think it looks good too. I mean, like, if you've ever been in a warm weather climate and like it wasn't even cold, and it's like it's weird.
Yeah.
And having grown up around here, it's weird.
Yeah,
You know, like
that's true. Good
so.
point.
Yeah, I don't like driving in it though.
No.
It's got to be the perfect snow. You know, like.
It's gotta be. It's
Not
gotta be
that
the right
slushy,
kind of
nasty,
snow.
like be good show.
Cool.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Anybody got anything else?
I had a couple things, but I forgot to write them down. So
Well, next week we are going to have on Brian Beebe, who's Whitehall's athletic director.
oh man, we should have had him on this week. Brian's not. Are you sure Brian's going to come on after we?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not. No, he'll come on.
In all seriousness, though, we love all those guys.
We
Like,
really do.
we get it, and we got to talk about it a little bit, but we do get it. So
you know where BB was at Saturday?
Lions game?
No.
Oh
Fog
no,
Allen.
he went.
Fog Allen.
Yeah, I
Fieldhouse.
saw that.
Jayhawks to watch Jessic.
Yeah.
Jessic's
Tony was
with-
down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stephen F. Austin.
Yeah.
Whitehall alum, Tony Jasic coaching. Yeah, it looked like he got like on the court.
Yeah, it was close.
Man.
I read on that post that they did fairly well. Do you know what the score
Yeah,
was?
it was like within 10 points. They were there.
That's crazy.
They were with him the whole game.
That's awesome. So Tony's assistant coaching at Stephen F.
Yeah,
Austin
yeah.
now?
Yeah, because he was at Jacksonville before.
Yeah, he was
wasn't
a head
quite a
coach for
while.
quite a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough place. He was at IUPUI first. I know Jacksonville probably lured him away, paid him more.
Yeah.
Like Jacksonville historically isn't a great program, and it just looked like a place that might be hard to recruit. Like I wondered how maybe he should have stayed where he was at. It's always hard with that. Like
Is
with
it hard in
coaches,
Jacksonville just to coach? Well, ask Urban Meyer. Let's ask him. that.
Yeah.
Right.
Urban found it. He doesn't know anymore because he's not there.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I think Tony's a great coach too. Like, great dude. Hope he's doing really well, and that's going well. Would you guys ever think about doing that? Like, if you thought you could
Coaching?
make it work, like go and be like a big time coach?
Yeah, I mean, probably. The kicker is like, I think it's just like, I guess it's like anything. Getting to that point.
Yeah, you pay your
I mean,
dues.
coaches really don't like you. A lot of times, I know coaches now or people that want to coach that like you have to volunteer for a few years, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't even like they don't even have paid positions.
We should have probably done that kind of program here, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. By the way, no volunteers doing this.
That's not unusual though. We had when I got out of the service, I had a buddy of mine that was a voluntary intern, and just so he could get in at Northrop Grumman, and and they did hire him. It did work out really well for him. He was a little against it when he first started, and I kind of talked to him. I'm like, yeah, this is a really good opportunity for you. Like, show you can do some stuff. You basically you don't have then you don't have to interview. You don't have you just kind of the next job they have, they're going to put you in it. You know what I mean, kind of thing. So
I would say that you have to volunteer, which means you have to work another job.
Yeah.
Or you have to, find a job that works with a schedule. Like a lot of times, I think people have a misconception around how much like a community college coach makes.
What is a community? I mean, is that online? It's got to be.
It is
it's
online.
public.
It is online. I don't know. Obviously, they're all going to be a little bit different, but I'll tell you that it's not a salary. It's not like a comfortable living. I mean, I'd guess I don't know, $12,000 or something. I really don't know.
Coaching, that's a tough
right
profession, though. I mean, I might have brought him up on our podcast before, but Donnie Tyndall used to go to Ravenna. He's now coaching at JUCO in Florida, but he was at Morehead State and then Southern
Kentucky?
Miss and then Tennessee, and then that's when he got hit with the NCAA. I think it's a show cause penalty or whatever. It's like a 10-year ban you get from basically coaching. And
That's crazy.
He's working his way. He was with the
Working
Grandpa's
his way
Drive.
back up.
That's better than I thought. I think it just depends. Like, how do you start there? How do you get there?
Yeah, well, it says the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. This is of 2010, 49,140 for a college, university, and professional school coaches.
I can see that. Like, I can see
that's for a head coach. The average salary and they use the junior college. The average salary for assistant coaches for men's sports team is about $12,000.
Yeah,
and again, that's 2010, so there's going to be a little bit of growth there.
Yeah, 15,000. I mean,
but that's not a lot.
Do they teach as well?
So that's what I mean.
They can. So, like, I want to say, didn't Gene Gifford at MCC, wasn't he the AD for a while too? Like, he served both roles. Yep. So they do it a little bit like high school, I think, sometimes, and you do both for your, like, if you have a kind of, if you have a program where you have a legit sport that you want to really be good at, they'll do both. I know that I watched it was a documentary on the community college out in California, and he taught. The guy that coached that team taught. What was the name of that?
I can't think of it. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, but it's a really well-known JUCO, and it's really well-known for taking either ex-Division I player or Division I talents and, like, moving them along to get them to the next level. And he definitely coached. He definitely taught at the school as well as coached. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. You have to find a job where you could, you can do both and gain that experience, and then I mean, the top end coaches make really, really good money.
So here's another one. It says assistant coaches for larger colleges and universities often earn six-figure salaries. Examples are the assistant coaches basketball at University of Florida earn between $100,000 and $250,000 annual salary. Head coaches at community colleges do not make six-figure salaries, and assistant coaches make minimum wage salaries or less based on the federal minimum wage at the time was $7.25 an hour. And I guarantee the thing that you don't realize is how much time they put into. Yeah. Like, even one of those guys that are at a big school making $100,000, there is a huge trade-off for making that salary, the time that you got to put in.
You don't coach for money. I think everybody can agree on that.
Yeah, it's a very select few coaches that actually get dollars out of it. Kind of do well. So.
Oh yeah, those are the.
But even I've always said that because like even the guys that make like bank now in the NFL or
they put in their time.
Well, to get there, like they did coach for nothing, more or less.
Yeah.
So they had to.
So this is something I just thought about. Fair State national title.
Yeah.
Right, Division II. Yep. Does Anise get picked up by?
Well, that was a question.
School, like I'm surprised somebody hasn't come and plucked him.
McCabe and I were having that discussion yesterday. Why has no one ever picked him up? And that's a great question. I mean, seems like someone like a CMU or someone at least when they had an opening
or something.
I don't know. I just feel like at a college level, the Division II level, if you can recruit and retain players, I mean, he's gotten some Division I type talent that is committed to going to Ferris, and like if you can do that at that level. It feels like that's a big piece of college athletics. Let's be honest, like especially in big time programs. Can you recruit and win the players that you want to recruit and win? And like, I just like that's a proof of concept. Like if it's me, I'm like, what do you think a guy like Anise makes? And I'm sure that's public knowledge because it's probably
it is. Between 100 and 200.
Think so?
Yeah. I'm almost positive I've looked that up before, just to see.
Yeah.
But again. Like look where Tony's been to get to that point, right? Like
right.
And how many White Lake area kids or West Michigan Conference kids were on that roster? I know Brendan Schwartz
from Montague.
Brendan Schwartz.
Who else was on that?
From the West Michigan Conference.
I don't know if there's any others.
I don't know from the West Michigan Conference.
At one time, Leroy Quinn was playing, but I don't think he was on this team. Maybe. Muskegon area, Brady Rose was on the team. There's a few others.
Does Brady play?
Crowley. No, I think he redshirted. They had 150 kids on the roster.
That's crazy. Like Schwartz is a legit athlete. I mean, like that dude is.
He's just put together.
He's put together. He's fast. Like, and I want to say he was at something where I was at, and he's playing, but it's not a lot. No. Like. It's just crazy to think the level of play that's going on there. Like
Brady Rose was a Michigan High School Player of the Year.
Yeah,
led his team to 2 straight state titles.
At that caliber, we're really talking like low tier D1 schools, right? I mean, that's like the same.
That's what it is.
I would consider that the same competition.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, especially if you make it to the national title.
That's
right?
what I mean.
Yeah. I just looked it up. In 2018, Anise was like 128, 854. So he's well compensated.
Yeah.
again, I would say the time you put in, though. I mean, he's got to be recruited, and he's responsible for a lot there. So yeah, no, but
you guys are out everywhere. I mean, the former Whitehall boys and girls basketball coach at one time, wasn't he?
He coached them both in the same season.
Did he really?
Yeah.
It was when I can't remember if it was when Allie was going through or when it was.
Well, you went to school with his kids then, right?
So they're all of them are older than me except for Anthony, who wasn't in the high school at the same time I was, and then they moved to where they're at now, Forest Hills area. But I was in the high school at the same time as the older ones.
So he lives in Forest Hills, but he coaches in Big Rapids.
Correct. I think he might. I don't know.
I had heard that they might have been building a house somewhere in between. I don't know for sure about that.
Well, his wife works at I can't remember.
She's an administrator in Forest Hills Schools, isn't she?
Oh,
maybe
something
like
that.
that.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't know which one, but she's like an assistant soup or something like that.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Gosh, he's got to get some looks, right? Like, I mean,
I think I feel like he has to. He has to.
Think he's just happy where he's at and content.
I think that it would have to be a perfect fit for him, kind of thing.
Yeah, Notre Dame maybe or.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's what happened to PJ Fleck.
I don't
Western for
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't understand though why those big time schools. I do understand it. I think they're stupid for it though. Why they don't go pluck some of those people earlier? A Michigan job or a Notre Dame job comes up, and you're always or where Stinking Kelly went, right? To LSU, go find somebody somebody like Tony. There's got to be some guys out there like that are just coaching their butts off.
I think that at that level, things just change a little bit.
They're risk averse. That's what it comes down to. Nobody wants to take a risk and be the blame for the guy for the reason Michigan doesn't win a Big Ten title for 15 years, right? But I think
I just think it's different.
And he says it's just a huge coaching tree too.
Yeah.
Over. He's got coaches that came from under him or his.
I wonder how many coaches he has at Ferris.
Over. Yeah,
how many coaches does a D2 college like
you see high school now. Geez, the high school sidelines have 10 coaches out there. How
many people you think work under D1 coaches?
Oh, hundreds.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, but they're not all coaches. I mean, I think that
trainers and
Warren De La Salle, which won the Division II state title. They beat Traverse City
Central.
Roan's got 30 assistant coaches there now.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I felt like Pat had 15 or 20 going at Montague for a while.
Yeah, he had a little herd following.
Yeah, a little herd. Cody was in that herd for a while.
Yeah, Cody was a disciple.
Cody also played for Nice too at GRCC.
He did. I forgot Nice. Yeah. They won a
short stint. Won.
Oh, they won. They didn't lose. Yeah. GRCC doesn't even have football anymore, do they?
No.
Just when Nice is there.
Just when Tony's there.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I congrats to Ferris State though. It's really cool to see that. Cool. Some might argue that Michigan is a pretty good football state if our pro team could get it together.
That's true. I mean,
you got a 10-2 MSU, you got Michigan playing in the college football playoffs, you got a Division II national title. So there's some good stuff going on. If we could just be more like the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Does Urban Meyer get another job in college, you think?
Billy, that's a good wow, buddy. You went right to it. Yeah, somebody will hire him. I mean, if Lane Kiffin can keep getting hired, I got to think that Urban Meyer is going to get hired somewhere. It won't be at the tier level that he's used to.
I mean, his curtain was kind of just open, and you see who he is and how he coaches.
Those guys can go somewhere.
Yeah, but somebody's going to take a risk on him.
And I think you might be surprised maybe that more coaches probably behave that way, but you just don't hear about it.
Yeah, right.
I guess my assumption was always that it was the norm, not the exception.
Right.
If you're coaching at that level, I mean, it's just like being an NFL player, an NBA player, even a high-level Division I basketball or football player, athlete. There's people talking to you.
And sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Especially making that jump from college to pro coaching.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at Saban. I'm not comparing Saban and Urban Meyer, but Saban's one of the greatest coaches out there. He's
awful
struggled.
For Miami.
Yeah.
Awful.
Right.
Yeah, it's just different somewhat. I think you got a situation where it's professional. You know, it is different. I think you got to treat the players differently.
Well, they're grown men with families.
Yeah,
they're making more than you are in some cases.
Right, they're businessmen often.
It's more you're managing a lot of people.
It is
the third best kicker in the NFL. Just calling him kicker. That's what he called him for months. He didn't even call him by his name. Just hey kicker.
You should hear what Brent calls you, but when you're
not my gosh, Zach too.
Yeah, for real.
No.
He just says that to me.
No, I definitely would argue. You know, my philosophy on all this stuff is it shouldn't be any different. If they're doing it right and they're building teams, it shouldn't be any different. But I think it definitely is. But I think that at the college level, some of these guys, they're almost creating like this empire, and they become kind of untouchable at some of these places. And in the pros, you're just never going to get that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe Bill Belichick gets away with it after a few rings, and but even then, like you're going to lose a locker room pretty quickly. And these guys have options. You know what I mean? Like if you want to win, you got to
get. In college too, you can stockpile talent. Like it's some of the dominant college programs. Like
Urban
Meyer
Alabama
can stockpile talent at Florida, at Ohio State.
Don't you think that
Saban can do it at Alabama?
Don't you think that like the ability to like manage people and motivate people like is more essential as you grow? Because you'll have a ton of people working underneath.
I think the opportunity it's important. It's more important because there's more opportunities. I think this transfer portal is going to cause a lot of changes. It already has, but in college football, because these kids now have an option. I mean, they're. Boy, I'm going to step on my own feet here, but college football, college basketball, college athletics. Let's call it what it is. It's oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's indentured servitude. Like you really have, up until some of these changes have happened, you really have very little control once you commit. Your control is all pre-commitment, right? And so with the transfer portal, I think that's changing a little bit. So you get in the wrong program, and a coach can be however they want. What are you going to do? They control whether you play. And if you go somewhere else, you're going to have to sit, you know what I mean, before you can play again. And if you're really trying to get to that next level, you get to the pros, that goes away instantly, right? And I think that's why some of those coaches struggle. Like you don't have as much control over that. Now, I think building a team should be the same, and if you really want to build strong teams, you're gonna do it in the same way. But yeah, that would be my take on it. Transfer portal is going to change some of that. I think I think so too. Kids don't have to stick around, and so they're going to be like, "Yeah, man, you're a jerk. I'm out. See ya." You know, and
find out who players like real quick.
Who players like, and
who they don't.
To Harbaugh's credit, like he's been pretty successful with getting guys in. I would say Tucker's been doing a good job at that, but I think you could see that.
But there's also the NIL thing that's a huge deal.
Oh yeah.
Now the Ohio State quarterback who didn't even play, he left high school early. That Ewers kid, and I think he just committed to the Longhorns. But he made $1 million. Didn't play it down at Ohio State, I don't think, or played very minimally.
Yeah, but he made $1 million on
NIL. Yeah. And now he's already transferring and leaving, got in the portal. Now he's already a Texas Longhorn. I mean, so now he looks like a hero coming back home to Texas.
Yeah, no. And I mean,
give him another $1 million.
And hey, I'll tell you what, more power to that kid, right? Like, I think, like, I don't know. I got real strong opinions about the fallacy of college amateur athletics. I mean, like, at a high level. Like, I think at the Division I level, it is a money churning opportunity.
It's just as big as the NFL. I mean, you got Saturday with the college and then Sunday with the NFL.
It is.
So, yeah, and I don't know.
Topic for a different
day, possibly. I think kids should be able to be paid, and I think it's a poor argument, the purity of the game and the purity of, like, give me a break.
No, it's a business thing. I mean, look at guys who are sitting out some pretty big bowl games.
Like I don't
Kenneth
blame.
Walker,
we talked about
Pickett.
that.
I mean, you can't blame them, can you?
Yeah, and NCAA has all the power to change that. Mm-hmm. Like make it a college playoff that includes the top 30 teams.
They could easily.
And then the games mean something, and I think a lot of these guys play.
Right.
The bowl system is antiquated. It's old.
Or give them or pay them from some of the
pay
bowl
them.
proceeds.
Yeah. Why would like? Come on, man. Like, you're telling me I'm going to risk losing if I hurt myself and I drop 2 rounds in the draft, or maybe I don't get drafted, that might cost me a few $1 million. Nobody in their right mind is going to be like, especially these kids, some of them don't come from money. Some of them not, like, heck no. I don't blame those kids one bit. And I do understand the value of teamwork and wanting to perform for your teammates, but there's a limit to that. I would never look at one of you guys and be like, hey, sacrifice. Yeah, you might have to sacrifice $2 million, but you need to come be part of the team. Right. I'm going to be like, look, dude, I'll be the first person to tell you, you probably need to sit. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't blame you. And oh, by the way, somebody else is going to come in and play. Now make that meaningful. We're playing for a national title on national television, and that's a whole different conversation. But Walker, the Peach Bowl, who cares?
You're right. No one cares about the outcome of that game.
Yeah. Right. So, anyways.
All right.
Yeah, it's my 2 cents. Are we done now? Are we?
Yeah,
we're
probably.
I have one. I just have one thing
Woo,
to say.
Billy, let's hear it.
Billy.
No, it's just a plug. The Power Hour is live from North Grove.
Yeah, baby.
This Thursday, Cody Cater's going to be on it, and it's going to be really good food there at North Grove.
I will be there.
There's drinks, and
I might have to come in.
It can be a crowd interaction show. I have a mic. We have a camera. Like, if you want to ask Cody some questions.
Can Zach and I heckle?
Yeah,
is that good?
I mean, that's
sweet.
That's what we're trying to go for. And if it's the place to be on Thursday.
So I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention our sponsors here as well: Van Dyke Mortgage, North Grove Breweries, Shepherd and Shepherd Law, of course, our own CatchMark. Did I miss anybody, guys? Without them, all of this stuff that we're trying to do, all the way we give back, would be a lot harder. Let's put it that way.
It sure would.
And we appreciate that. So.
They're legendary.
Yep. So, Zach, you signing us off?
Yep. I think that's going to do it. Thank you for tuning in to episode 9 of the CatchMark SportsNet podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.
See ya.